I'm browning up some beef here for taquitos, which are one of our 4-ingredient meals. I also got some lo mein with pork, a beef and broccoli, but let's start with our 4-ingredient breakfast. This is a chorizo scramble. I got frozen diced O'Brien potatoes, ground chorizo from Meyer. Also, you can find this chorizo in tubes. Either type will work. I just feel like it looks better going down on the griddle this way rather than squeezing it out of a tube. 6 eggs that I'll scramble and some quesadilla cheese. But use whatever cheese you like. I'm not the cheese police. I like to be between 375 and 400 degrees for my potatoes and meat. Some oil going down, then a whole bag of O'Brien taters. FYI, I'm not counting oil or salt and pepper as ingredients. It's kind of one of the ways I'm cheating on this 4-ingredient thing. Now these potatoes are just okay, to be honest, but I was trying to add some color and cheat a little bit more because they have peppers and onions in there, so get away with some more ingredients. There's some frozen red skin potatoes as well that I think would work better for this meal if you can find them. Get them all tossed up in oil, then add some Mike Lowry's seasoned salt and some pepper. And after that, you spread them out thin and just don't touch them for about 10 minutes. A little more seasoned salt and pepper for good measure. Move our taters out of the way, then slap down your chorizo. Make sure you slap it down, it will make you feel better. I try to press it out a bit, get a good sear, as much surface contact as we can on this pork. Now let's listen to the birds while I flip these potatoes. I just thought that sounded peaceful, so I figured I would share. The diced potatoes got a decent sear, but not great. Also, FYI at the end, I'm going to rank all 5 of these meals, so make sure you stick around for that. Flip the chorizo, and that's what we're looking for. Color means flavor. Give this thing a chop. You can see all the oil and seasoning on the spatula. If you've never had chorizo before, it does have a little bit of heat to it. There's a ton of flavor, but a little heat. We'll make a well in the middle of the potatoes for our eggs. I like to do my eggs between 300 and 325, so we're good to go here. This is a good trick to lower your temperature for the eggs and contain them with the potatoes, is making this well and pouring them in there. Now, it didn't contain them completely. I still had some of them try to run away, just like a group of kindergartners. There's always some rebels and troublemakers in the bunch. I know from experience. I then added some of the cheese and waited for the eggs to set up. After a little, I will fold them in on themselves and add some more cheese. Then you're just cooking it until the eggs are to your liking, until they set up what you want them to look like. You could also fold the chorizo in here as well, but my wife and son don't love chorizo, so I'm keeping it on the side. Put it on a white plate, and there's a chorizo scramble. Now, did I go inside and put this in a tortilla with sour cream for breakfast tacos? Absolutely not. That would be a 5th and 6th ingredient and is against the rules. But do this however you want at home. Pork chop lo mein is next. I got these pork chops that are only like $3. I could have just bought the whole loin and cut it myself, but this was convenient, and that's what this video is all about. I'm marinating them in some Japanese barbecue sauce. They have different flavors of this sauce. The one I'm using here is the yuzu, which is a Japanese citrus fruit that tastes like a grapefruit, a lemon, and an orange had a baby. I didn't come up with that analogy myself. I'm literally reading it from their website. Anywho, I marinated in that for about an hour, right in the styrofoam. That's an amateur tip for you lazy griddlers out there. Just marinate in the styrofoam. Stir fry noodles, which I've put straight on the griddle before, but that didn't work out too well. It took a while to break them up and loosen them. So this time I pierced the bag and threw these in the microwave for about 30 seconds just to give them a head start. Again, we want to be between 375 and 400. Add about 1 tablespoon of oil down and give this a solid minute to warm up before you add the chops. My griddle is purposely slanting towards the front so it's easier to clean. That's why I'm fighting with this oil. I get a lot of comments from the DIYers out there. You need to level your griddle. It's like, okay, thank you, Dad. I appreciate that. Here goes all 6 of the pork chops, then the veggies. This is a super slaw stir fry mix, which, if I'm not mistaken, may actually be healthy for you and is not normal for most of my cooks. Again, I'm counting this as one ingredient because I just have to open the bag. Some may call it bending the rules, but hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. I modified this recipe from the Banchan website, which they make the Japanese barbecue sauce, and they didn't sponsor this video, by the way. I just like their stuff, but they suggested adding ginger and garlic, which I'm sure would really make this great and take it to the next level. But you know, we're already stretching the rules with these ingredients here. Water in a dome for these veggies to steam them. Flip the pork chops. They have a decent color on them. You're really only doing about 2 to 3 minutes per side because these things are just so thin. More water to steam the veggies, then pull the chops and put them on a plate or on a small wire rack if you got one on your griddle. Put your noodles right where the pork chops were. 1/4 cup of the same yuzu Japanese barbecue sauce. I felt like it could use a little more, but also, you know, you can just add that at the end, so I just kept with kind of their recipe. Mix your noodles together, then add the veggies, and we'll add sauce on there and some sesame oil. Now look, I said I wasn't counting oil, so this definitely is not a 5th ingredient. This is all on the up and up here. Once it's all thoroughly mixed, grab your nice white bowl that you just bought recently to try to impress a bunch of people on the internet that you don't know and will probably never meet. Put the pork chops on top. This is great to have with lunches, and sometimes I'll just throw some of those chops in between some pieces of white bread for a real classy late night snack at halftime of Monday Night Football. The Lazy Man's Shroom Burger, Shroom and Swiss that is. Now look, I threw down a container of sliced mushrooms and toasted up my buns while the griddle was preheating. Added some seasoned salt to the mushrooms. Move the mushrooms to the front corner so they don't burn while we do the beef, and they might burn because we want our griddle to get pretty hot when we're doing this beef, up around 500, so move your mushrooms out of the way. I got a temperature chart that goes over all these temperatures I like to cook different stuff at on the griddle. It's free when you sign up for my newsletter. There's a link in the description if you're interested in doing that. So then next I did probably the laziest smash burger you can possibly do. I threw down a pound of beef, let it sear a bit, then separated it into 6 sections with my spatula, and they were not even close to being equal sizes, like not even close. Obviously, if you weigh them out or use a 1/3 measuring cup to measure them out like I've suggested in previous videos, you'll get better results. But I wanted to keep this a simple and quick weeknight meal. You know, usually we do those bag salads for easy dinners during the week, and I just wanted to see, like, how fast can I do a smash burger? I flipped them and smashed them with 2 spatulas, add some seasoned salt. These were probably the worst looking smash burgers I've ever made, but still tasted better than like 90% of the stuff we eat for weeknight dinners because, I mean, come on, they're hamburgers, you know? Even a bad hamburger is better than most salads. You can see that I didn't get a great sear, but that's okay. I added my Swiss cheese, then I did the buns inside out so that the toasted part is what you see and bite into first, kind of like a patty melt. Added my mushrooms, and that's it. Oh, ignore the A1 sauce. That would be a 5th ingredient. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the sauce behind the curtain. Beef and broccoli. I got some sirloin tips on sale. Hey yo, living large here. Just out here trying to fight inflation. I put them in a bowl and marinate them in 1 tablespoon of some more of the Japanese barbecue sauce. This is the original flavor. Then we'll take 2 teaspoons of cornstarch and basically get it all over the countertop. And then 2 tablespoons of water, give it a good mix. Then we'll add a 1/3 cup of Japanese barbecue sauce and mix it again, and boom, you got teriyaki sauce ready to go in your griddle. We are at 375 to 400 degrees, just like the lo mein. Put the oil down and let it warm up again, just a minute. Beef going down first, spread it out, make sure everyone is touching the griddle. You don't want it in a pile. We're trying to get a little sear on each piece of meat. Whole bag of broccoli is next. Now I will say that even though they were cut florets, I should have probably cut them again. Some of them were way too big and did not cook as evenly as I wanted. But I was really trying to keep this simple, so I just threw everything on the griddle. After you toss the broccoli and get a little bit of oil on it, we'll cover it with a dome and squirt some water to steam it. Here's some instant rice. I did some in the microwave and some on the griddle. My recommendation to you is just to heat it all up in the microwave if you get the instant rice. You can do it on the griddle, but honestly, I was just trying to get more stuff on the griddle so it looks good for the internet, but it's a pain to get it off. It's way easier. Next time, I'm just going to heat both pouches up in the microwave, put them in the bowl, then add the beef and broccoli when it's done. Go ahead and flip the beef strips after a few minutes, then break up this rice. Check on the broccoli, and it's even a brighter green now, which lets us know that we're on track and it's getting closer to being done. But we do want a few more minutes under the lid, so we'll put it back on there. Here's the rice from the microwave in that fancy bowl again. Get my money's worth out of this thing. Got a nice sear on a few pieces of steak, and the broccoli is done, so we'll add them together. Then here comes our teriyaki sauce. Now I added the whole bag of broccoli, so it wasn't quite as saucy as I would have liked. Next time I may do 1/2 a cup rather than 1/3 a cup. But you can always add more of the Japanese barbecue sauce at the end. I'll go ahead and cut the heat. There's enough residual heat to thicken this sauce up and cook out the cornstarch. Bring the rice in too and continue mixing it until well combined. Then we'll grab our bowl with the other rice in it and load it up. This was super simple, turned out great, and I ate it for lunch a few times during the week. Taquitos. I got a pound of ground beef going down, and I'll try to press it out just like I did with the pork earlier to get a nice sear, make more surface contact. We have some tortillas, a tinga sauce, and quesadilla cheese again. I was actually looking for birria sauce, but grabbed this instead, and I really liked it. Put some salt and pepper on our beef. Now I want to go over how I've been cooking ground beef wrong. I saw a video that talked about cooking long enough so that all the moisture leaves and you get that crispy Maillard reaction. I'm usually very impatient and just cook it until it's no longer pink. But this time you can see that I cooked it longer until it got a sear, and I even moved it over to a different part of the griddle that was still hot and started breaking it up there. You can see I got some really nice brown crispy bits on the beef here. I move it to the side, then I add the tinga sauce. I've never done this on the griddle before. Feels like I'm making some sort of like Mexican sloppy joe. This is really some lazy Midwest cooking right here. Once it's all combined, I turn my griddle to low and start making the taquitos. Some more oil going down, and I'm only doing 4 tortillas at once so they don't get too crispy before I can start to roll them. Cheese in each one, then a large spoonful of the sloppy Jose's. Then we'll roll them up and then just let them sit on the griddle for a while, seam side down so that they seal together. Now I use 6-inch flour tortillas, but you can use corn ones if you would like, or you can make like really big 12-inch ones. Whatever you want. Make sure you don't overstuff these things or they will be very hard to roll. Let's take a look here. Oh, nice. Oh, we'll roll over the ones that have a good browning. Some of them I'm browning up real well to eat right away, and the other ones I'm just kind of sealing together, and then I'm going to freeze them and reheat them later in the air fryer. So I don't need as much browning because they'll get some more color when I'm reheating them in the air fryer. We'll put the freezer ones on my sheet pan, then check on the ones in the front, and oh yeah, that's what we're talking about. Take that 7-Eleven, I don't need you anymore. I'm self-sufficient, I can make my own taquitos. I'm just kidding, 7-Eleven. I'll be back on Friday to pick up my weekly 6-pack. These turned out great, and I'm definitely not off camera dipping them straight into a container of sour cream. I am a man of my word, only 4 ingredients. Final rankings, number 5 was the Chizo Scramble, mainly because of the diced potatoes. Switch to Redskins, make it into a taco, you'll love it. Number 4 is the taquitos. There was nothing wrong with them, and they reheated better than I thought in the air fryer, but they're just like one thing. They're not a meal, so that's why they're number 4. Number 3 is the pork lo mein. I really like this, and the super slaw bag was simple but added a lot of veggies. I'm going to add more sauce next time though. Number 2 is a smash burger, which, did not look pretty, but it's like your mom said. It's not what's on the outside that counts. It's the delicious hamburgery, cheesy mushroom middle, which is really what makes this the second best thing. And it was super simple and pretty quick for a weeknight meal. And number 1 was the beef and broccoli. I think I will double this next time. Definitely won't put the rice on the griddle, keep it in the microwave. I'll just eat it throughout the week. Whenever I want some more, I will microwave the rice, microwave the beef and broccoli with it. Boom, it's a great meal prep idea. For more easy recipes, click the video on your screen now. Thank you so much for watching and keep on griddling, friends.